Today on Inquirer, President Bongbong Marcos and United States President Joe Biden to hold a bilateral meeting at the White House on May 1. U.S. to reaffirm ironclad commitment to its defense of the Philippines. Pagasa warns of warmer days ahead. State Weather Bureau says heat index of more than 40 degrees Celsius may hit Metro Manila and other parts of Luzon. COVID-19 positivity rate in the country inches up anew to 8.8%. And Twitter begins mass removal of blue check marks from legacy verified accounts. Good evening. President Bongbong Marcos and United States President Joe Biden are set to hold a bilateral meeting at the White House on May 1. To tell us more, here's Jean Mangaluz reporting live. Jean, what's on the agenda for the bilateral talks?
Neil, the U.S. is expected to reaffirm its ironclad commitment to its defense of the Philippines during a bilateral meeting between President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. and U.S. President Joe Biden at the White House on May 1. According to the White House, other than defense, the two world leaders will also discuss the economy, clean energy, and more. Biden and Marcos will discuss efforts to strengthen the long-standing U.S.-Philippines alliance. They'll also tackle regional matters and joint efforts to uphold international law. The White House said that the two leaders will review opportunities to deepen economic cooperation and promote inclusive prosperity, expand our nation's special people-to-people ties, invest in the clean energy transition and the fight against climate change, and ensure respect for human rights. Meanwhile, the Presidential Communications Office said that the visit will reaffirm the bonds of friendship that give definition and significance to the many facets of bilateral relationships, underpinned by the close affinity shared by Filipinos and Americans alike for many years. According to the PCO, the visit will also advance efforts to deepen relationships and ties. Marcos is also eyeing partnerships in agriculture, energy, climate change, technology, humanitarian assistance and disaster relief, supply chains, and infrastructure. The PCO said that Marcos would be in Washington, D.C. from April 30 to May 4. He's also expected to meet with key cabinet officials in the U.S. In September 2022, Biden and Marcos Jr. also met during the United Nations 77th General Assembly. The meeting between the leaders on May 1 comes amid tensions in the West Philippine Sea and controversial remarks from Chinese envoy Juan Chilian, who said that the Philippines is stoking the fire by allowing the U.S. access to military bases near the Taiwan Strait. That's it from me, Neil. Back to you.
Jean, you mentioned it in your report. The timing here is something to take note of. Will the two leaders discuss the situation in Taiwan and what happens should the situation there escalate?
You're right, Neil. While the timing is noteworthy, neither the PCO nor the White House mentioned that the two presidents will discuss the situation in Taiwan. However, the White House did say that they'll talk about regional matters and how to promote a free and open Indo-Pacific. To recall, Wang Xilian had some very strong words when it came to the situation in Taiwan, telling the Philippines to oppose the island's independence if the country cares about the 150,000 overseas Filipino workers there.
Thanks, Jean. That's Jean Mangaluz reporting live. In an upward trend since February, the COVID-19 positivity rate in the country rises to 8.8% according to independent pandemic monitor OCTA research. On a social media post on Friday, OCTA fellow Guido David says the nationwide positivity rate inched up from 8.5% to 8.8%. The World Health Organization recommends a 5% threshold to indicate that transmission of the virus is under control. The Department of Health on Thursday says it is monitoring 7,340 active COVID-19 cases nationwide. DOH officer in charge Maria Rosario Vergere previously said there was not yet a cause for alarm and thus the proposed return of the mask mandate is not being considered by the department. She, however, encourages the use of face masks in crowded and poorly ventilated places. The courtesy resignations of over 900 Filipino National Police generals and colonels are one step closer to being decided upon by the President. The courtesy resignations were turned in as part of the government's bid to purge the PNP's ranks of illegal drug links. In a statement on Friday, PNP Public Information Office Chief Colonel Redrico Maranan says the five-man committee led by National Police Chief General Rodolfo Azurin Jr. convened on Thursday to complete its evaluation of the senior PNP officials' records. Maranan says the panel has wrapped up work and drafted its report containing the findings and recommendations. He says the report will be formally endorsed to the National Police Commission chaired by Interior Secretary Benher Abalos for the final layer of evaluation before elevating the report to President Bongbong Marcos for his approval. In January, Abalos, with the go-ahead of Marcos, sounded the call for all high-ranking PNP officers to turn in their courtesy resignations and subject themselves to the review in a bid to weed out erring policemen with ties to criminal drug syndicates. Next on Inquirer today, Pagasa says heat index of more than 40 degrees Celsius may hit Metro Manila and other parts of Luzon. Senator Grace Poe says Department of Transportation should address the looming depletion of plastic cards for driver's licenses. And Twitter begins mass removal of blue check marks from legacy verified accounts. This Inquirer today will be back shortly.
Samgyup. Salamay. This unusual grill shocked netizens because it's made of a coffin.
Ako pala po si Vincent Levy Dolitin, mamayari ng funeral dito sa taon namin, Pigkawayan, Cotabato.
Vincent has been surrounded by coffins for 18 years since he owns a funeral home business. It wasn't until the pandemic when he thought of a unique idea.
Kasi nag-umpisa ito nung nung pandemic, yung kasagsagan na coffin dance. Doon ko naisip na pwede pala na gumawa ako ng coffin grill para maiba naman. Itong coffin grill, bigay sa akin ng friend supplier ko from Santo Tomas, Pampanga. Hindi ito used, sir. Balik kinuha ko yung lining sa loob. Tapos doon na namin tinano kung paano gawing coffin grill. Pagdating dito, tinanggal namin yung mga lining sa loob, yung mga tela ng mga lining, tsaka nilagyan namin ng angle bars, winelding namin doon sa loob, tapos nilagyan namin yung mismong grill, yung ihawan, tsaka dito sa kabila naman, yung kabilang side, nilagyan ko ng cooler para sa mga inumin, para picnic, isahan na lang po. Yung mga friends ko, pumunta dito sa bahay, nagpa-picture, kumakain, kung anong gusto nilang ihawin.
Vincent's grill might be unusual, but he says many are asking if he's actually selling it.
Marami pong nagtatanong, sir, kung for sale ba from Luzon, Visayas, Mindanao. Sabi ko, personal use lang po ito. Hindi pwede na negosyo ako ng iwan kasi nasa funeral po ako.
Aside from this grill, Vincent plans to make more projects, also making use of coffins.
Hopefully, susunod na plano, magawa din ako ng soundbox na kabaong at saka aquarium.
A heat index of more than 40 degrees Celsius may hit parts of Luzon, including Metro Manila, according to the Philippine Atmospheric, Geophysical, and Astronomical Services Administration. Joining us today is live is Pagasa weather specialist Veronica Torres. Ms. Veronica?
Hi, good afternoon to you and all of our audience. So as of now, easterlies is affecting the eastern sections of Visayas and Mindanao. And for the weather for Metro Manila and the rest of the country, we're expecting partly cloudy to cloudy skies with isolated rain showers and thunderstorm. And as of now, we don't have any gale warning raised on any part of the country. So our fishermen and those with small sea vessels can freely sail.
Ms. Veronica, pag-usapan nga natin itong mainit na panahon ngayon. Kasi talagang mainit ngayon yung panahon, asahan ba natin na tataas pa itong temperatura, particularly here in the Metro Manila sa mga darating na araw?
Opo, tama po kayo dyan dahil nga po ngayon wala na yung ating amihan o northeast monsoon, wala rin tayong inaasahan na habagat. Ang dominant na weather system natin is yung easterlies o yung mainit na hangin galing sa Karagatang Pasipiko. So, high chance na mas tumaas pa rin yung ating mga temperatura, yung matataas kasi nating temperature, usually around May or April. Tatala.
Inaasahan po ba natin na tataas pa ito sa mga darating na araw? Because kung isipin natin, we're still in the early stage of the dry season. Tama po ba yun?
Opo, medyo masasabi nating around sa may kalagitnaan. Maari kasing matapos itong dry season, pwedeng around May or pwedeng first week or first half ng June.
Pwede po ba natin i-explain, Ms. Veronica, yung konsepto ng heat index? Kasi iba ito kapag pinag-uusapan natin yung actual temperature, iba pa yung heat index. Tama po?
Opo, tama po yun. Kasi yung ating heat index, ayun yung nararamdaman natin na init. Yung usual natin na nare-record na temperature, usually ito yung air temperature. O iba kasi yun, kapag sinabi naman natin heat index, may computation po tayo. Pinagsasama din natin yung alinsangan ng hangin. So, kapag mas maalinsangan, mas nagiging mataas din yung heat index dahil ayun yung nararamdaman natin na init.
Ms. Veronica, may datos po ba tayo ngayon kung ano yung pinakamainit na temperatura sa Pilipinas so far this year?
Opo, so kung pagbabasehan natin yung heat index sa na-compute natin or na-record natin simula nung nag-start yung dry season, yung sa may San Jose, sa may Occidental Mindoro at sa may Butuan City, ayun po yung nakapagtala tayo ng 47 degrees Celsius na heat index. Ito ay nung around March 25 at 24.
So ito po bang 40 degrees Celsius na heat index sa Metro Manila ay naasahan pa po natin na magtuloy-tuloy pa po yung ganito kainit na panahon?
Opo, so sa kasalukuyan, based nga sa ating huling forecast, naasahan natin na pwedeng mga around, kung yung forecast po kasi natin na nilabas for yesterday, yung forecast niya para bukas, pwede umabot na around 50 yung heat index, although may chance na mag-change pa po yan. Pero yung mga susunod naman po, pwedeng umabot ng mga 36 to mga 39 degrees Celsius yung heat index po.
Siguro po, Ms. Veronica, ano na lang yung mga tips na pwede nating ibigay sa ating mga kababayan para maiwasan? Kasi dahil dito sa mainit na panahon, pwede itong magdulot ng mga heat stroke, mga ganyan. Ano pwede po nating gawin?
Opo, number one, lagi po tayong uminom ng tubig, always stay hydrated, and also, as much as possible, wag na tayong lumabas, lalo na kapag mainit yung temperatura, usually mga alas 12 pa lang hanggang mga sabihin natin mga alas 3, mainit na po kasi yung panahon na yan. Mostly yung mga activities natin, kung pwede schedule na lang natin ng umaga or pwede ng hapon kung saan mas malamig yung ating temperatura, at kung lalabas man tayo, magpayong tayo or mag-cap or pwedeng yung may mga sleeve para maprotektahan yung balat natin sa init.
Maraming salamat po, Ms. Veronica. That's Pagasa Weather Specialist Veronica Torres. The National Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Council says a total of 193,436 individuals have been affected by the oil spill in Oriental Mindoro. This translates to 40,897 families across the Calabar Zone, Mimaropa, and the Western Visayas. Among the regions affected, Mimaropa fared the worst in terms of affected persons, with over 153,000 people affected. The council also says that Western Visayas had over 27,000 people affected, while at least 13,000 people were affected in Calabar Zone. The number of fisherfolk affected is now over 24,000. Previously, the Department of Health and the Department of Environment and Natural Resources had issued a statement saying that only 9 out of 35 sampling stations in Puerto Galera passed the water quality test. The oil spill was caused by the empty Princess Empress, which sank off Oriental Mindoro while carrying 800,000 liters of oil last month. Senator Grace Poe says the Department of Transportation should address the looming depletion of plastic cards for driver's licenses issued by the Land Transportation Office. Poe calls for the timely intervention of the DOTR after the LTO bared its plan to issue driver's licenses on paper as a stopgap measure amid the dwindling supply of plastic cards, which is expected to completely run out this month. She notes that paper-based driver's licenses are prone to wear and tear and could be easily tampered with. Poe also reminds transportation authorities that driver's licenses require payment coming from motorists' own pockets. She cites Republic Act No. 10930, which she had sponsored in the 17th Congress. The law extends the validity of driver's licenses to up to 10 years in a bid to widen the period between license renewals. But Poe argues that the inconvenience due to the license card's unavailability defeats the purpose of the law. The DOTR on Thursday said it was already coordinating with the Department of Budget and Management to fast-track the purchase of the new driver's license cards needed by the LTO. Twitter began its mass removal of the blue check marks previously used to indicate verified accounts. High-profile users appeared to have had the check marks removed, including the accounts of Donald Trump, Bill Gates, and Justin Bieber. Twitter owner Elon Musk earlier pledged to get rid of verification system, which he referred to as, quote, Lords and the Peasants system. Instead, he offered to sell the blue badge on a subscription basis. He claims this would, quote, democratize journalism and empower the voice of the people. The removal comes after spats between Twitter and various news organizations that have objected to labels appended to their accounts indicating they were state-affiliated or government-funded. Users have complained about the proliferation of hate speech and misinformation, and accounts with extreme views gaining traction due to less content moderation. Alamin naman natin ang mainit na balita sa mundo ng showbiz kasama si Ann Therese Arceo ng Bandera. Ann?
Hello Neil, at hello sa lahat ng kabandera natin all over the universe. Narito ang latest chika for today. Kim Chu, humiling ng dasal para sa agarang paggaling ng kanyang ate Lakam. Tila nabahira ng lungkot ang masaya sanang pagdiriwang ng ika-33 kaarawan ng TV host actress na si Kim Chu matapos isugod sa ospital ang kanilang panganay na kapatid na si ate Lakam. Sa kanyang Instagram account ay ibinahagi niya ang hindi inaasahang pangyayari kalakip ng mga larawan na kuha sa ospital kung saan inadmit ang kanyang kapatid. Aniya, today is different. I wish it was different. Kasabay nito ay ang paghiling niya sa madlang people ng dasal para sa agarang paggaling ng kanyang panganay na kapatid. Bumuhos naman ng mensahe at suporta ang comment section mula sa kanyang mga kaibigan gaya na lang nina Angelica Panganiban, Bella Padilla, mga co-host sa It's Showtime, pati na rin ng mga fans na patuloy na nagmamahal at sumusuporta sa kanya. Matatanda ang vocal lang aktres sa kung gaano niya kamahal ang kanyang ate dahil ito ang nagmistulang gabay at sandalan niya simula nang pasukin niya ang pag-aartista. Kasama mo ang bandera sa pagdarasal para sa agarang paggaling ng iyong ate Lakam, Kimi. At yan nga ang latest showbiz chika for today. Tutok lang sa bandera para sa mas maiinit pang pasabog sa mundo ng showbiz. Maraming salamat, Neil.
Maraming salamat, Ann. And these are the stories you need to know today. I'm Neil Mercado. Catch Inquirer today live weekdays at 5 p.m. Follow INQUIRER.net on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and Reddit. For more stories, visit INQUIRER.net. Good evening.